Hello everyone, and welcome to Biology News. Today, you'll hear from your three hosts, Karen Gonzalez, Melissa Guzman, and I myself, Daniel Sanchez. I am here to talk to you today about covalent bonds versus hydrogen bonds. Covalent bonds are formed when two or more atoms share electrons to fill their outermost electron shells. Electron shells rely heavily on the octet rule, which was based off the noble gases. That says that you need to have 8 electrons on the outer shell for the atom to be more stable. In order to complete the 8 electrons, in order to get the octet, many atoms rely on sharing electrons. For example, chlorine. Chlorine is an atom that can have a covalent bond with another chlorine, and that will provide a single bond, meaning that only one pair of electrons is needed in order to make it more stable. However, oxygen requires 2 pairs of electrons to complete the octet and make the atom more stable. Then we have hydrogen bonds. Hydrogen bonds occur when the partial positive charge of a hydrogen atom bonds to another electronegative molecule, usually oxygen, nitrogen, or fluorine. Now, the key similarity between hydrogen bonds and covalent bonds are both bonds are intramolecular forces. The key differences are that covalent bonds can occur with any element on the periodic table, whereas hydrogen bonds usually occur between hydrogen atoms, oxygen, nitrogen, and fluorine molecules. Also, hydrogen bonds are only 1/10 as strong as covalent bonds. Sorry for interrupting you, Daniel, but I have some breaking news. I just found out the main functions for defensive proteins and transport proteins. The main function for defensive proteins is to protect against diseases, whereas transport proteins' main function is the transport of substances. Sorry for that interruption. Back to you, Karen Gonzalez.
Hello and welcome to your Bio News. Today we will be giving you some information in the differences between prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells with the help of our cell models. A basic difference between both of the cells is, as you can see, prokaryotic cells are generally smaller than eukaryotic cells. A major difference is that prokaryotic cells do not have a nucleus. As you can see, our prokaryotic cell is missing its nucleus, and our eukaryotic cell has its nucleus. Eukaryotic cells store their DNA in the nucleus, while prokaryotic cells store their DNA in the nucleoid. Prokaryotic cells are single-celled organisms, while eukaryotic cells need to join with others in order to function. Prokaryotic cells belong to 2 domains, which are domain bacteria and domain archaebacteria, while eukaryotic cells belong to 1 domain, which is known as domain archaeoid. Prokaryotic cells have their domain archaebacteria, which breaks down into 1 kingdom known as Monera, while eukaryotic cells have their domain break down into 4 kingdoms known as kingdom plants, kingdom animals, kingdom fungi, and kingdom protista. As a bonus tonight, we will be talking about 3 proteins. First, we have receptor proteins. Their function is to respond to cell chemical stimuli. Secondly, there's contractile and monitor proteins, and their function is to produce movement. Lastly, we have structural proteins, and their function is to support. This is all we have for you tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Wow, great job, Karen. Now to you, Melissa Guzman.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Melissa Guzman, and today I'm going to be talking to you about 3 main similarities that the eukaryote and the prokaryote have. And I'm also going to be talking to you about 3 main type of proteins today. Now, one of the main similarities between a eukaryote and a prokaryote is that they both have a cell membrane. Now, this cell membrane acts as a barrier between the internal and external environment of a cell. They also have a ribosome, which produces protein for these cells, and both the eukaryote and prokaryote both have DNA. Now, let's get into our special feature and talk about three main proteins today that I have. Now, the first type of protein that I'm going to be talking to you about is the enzymic protein. And this function is a selective acceleration of chemical reactions. An example will be a digestive enzyme of the hydrolysis of the bonds in the foods. Now, here's an example of that. Now, the next type of protein I'm going to be talking to you about would be the storage protein. Now, the storage protein function is the storage of amino acids. An example of this would be ovobunin is a protein of an egg white used as an amino acid source for developing an embryo. Get a closer look at that example. Now, the next type of protein and the final protein I'm going to be talking to you about today is the hormonal protein. Now, the function of this hormonal protein is the coordination of an organism's activities. An example of this would be the insulin, a hormonal secreted by pancreas, causes other tissues to take up glucose, regulating blood sugar concentration, which in here you see the high blood sugar, and you see once the insulin goes in, it goes back to normal blood sugars. So, ladies and gentlemen, we just went through three main proteins. The hormonal protein is one, storage protein two, and one, the enzyme protein. And we talked about three main type of similarities between the eukaryote and the prokaryote. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy your day.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was your day's segment of Bio News with Karen Gonzalez, Melissa Guzman, and myself, Daniel Sanchez. Over and out.